Namami Buddhang Gunasaгаранtam Satta Sada Hontu Sukhi Avira Kayu Jigucchu Sakalo Dugando Gaccanti Sabbi Maranang Ahanche. Good evening, everyone. Before commence our this year class, first of all, I would like to wish all of you very happy and peaceful New Year. And also, good evening, everyone. Today, class topic is right view, that is Samadhi in Pali. Today, I teach you Samadhi, right view, perspective, which the first factor of the eightfold path in its order sequence. Actually, they are not what we have to follow as a step one by one in our cultivation, but they are components which intertwined together to make more strength our understanding, just like a strand of a single cable which provides an equal strength to the main cable or rope. In our gradual progress of these 8 factors, it can be experienced that all factors of the Eightfold Path simultaneously are supporting one another. However, we cannot go forth without its sequence until that point is accomplished. The Eightfold Path is divided into 3 groups. First group is Sila Kanda, the moral discipline group. Right speech, right action, and right livelihood comes under this group. They are partly equivalent are Samavacha, Samakammanta, and Sama Ajiva. The second group is Samadhi Kanda, the concentration group. Right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentrations come in this particular group. They are partly equivalent are Samma Vayama, Samma Sati, and Samma Samadhi. The last group is, or third group is, Panyakanda, the wisdom group. Right view and right intention are its main factors. Their partly equivalents are Samadhi and Samma Sankappa. These three groups are exposed three stages of training, Tesikka. The training of the higher moral discipline, Adisila Sikha, the training of the higher consciousness, Adi Chitta Sikha, and the training of the higher wisdom, Adi Panya Sikha. The overall aim and direction of the path determines the sequences or order of these three training. This training path's final or ultimate goal is liberation from suffering, and it depends on how you uproot your ignorance and how you determine to be opposed to ignorance. In wisdom training, you design or train your mental faculties to understand things as they truly are. Our wisdom unfolds by degrees. The mind that has been concentrated presupposes the painters of insight as its basis. The second section of the awakening path is concentration, and it can be achieved to the training of the higher consciousness. And its training provides calm and collectedness that needed to develop insight or wisdom. Basically, our unwholesome disposition dominate our training that we develop in order for the mind to be unified in concentration. So we need to be placed awareness on those unwholesome mental disposition as they could disperse the beam of attention and scatter it among a manifold of objects. So that at the beginning of our training, it is very necessary to restrain our sense bases to avoid them from becoming channels of the defilement. The training of moral discipline accomplishes this task. So thus, these three stages, moral discipline as the foundation for concentration, concentration as the foundation for wisdom, and wisdom as the foundation for gaining liberation, are directly evolved in this awakening path. Sometimes perplexity may arise about an apparent inconsistency in sequence of the threefold training. Last stage of the threefold training, either wisdom, which consists of right view and right intention, are placed at the beginning of the path rather than at its end, in accordance with canonical strict consistency. The mentioning of the path factors thus is not irrational but very rational, and it is an important logistical consideration. They being at the outset of the path spur us for entering the triple training. Here, right view supplies us the perspective for our practice, while right intention provide us direction. Their function do not end just simply by providing its preparatory role. Finally, superior right view and right intention arrive when the mind has been refined by the training in moral discipline and concentration, which properly design the accurate training in the higher wisdom. Right view is the pioneer factor as it works in forerunner of the entire path, and all other factors need its guidance. This is the gateway to enter to the entire awakening path. It shows us our starting point, our destination, and proper landmarks on the way which supposed us to pass the way fruitfully. Our effort that you take without a proper foundation of right view would be your practice useless, and it directs you to astray in your practice like a blind man walks without a white stick. And also it can be compared to a driver who drives without proper road map and disregarding experienced driver's instruction. Such a driver get into the car and start to drive. But rather than reaching near to his final destination, he is more likely to go in astray from his journey. To reach to the expected destination, he has to have some general information and rote memory skill. This comparison aptly can apply with our or your threefold training that you practice with the help of a framework of understanding developed by right view. The significance of your right view can be gauged from your own perspectives on the crucial issues of reality and value that you bear rather than depend on mere theoretical convictions. They rule our habits, attitude, our tendencies, our action, and finally our whole orientation in our life. We might have only obscure conceptual grasps of our belief, and they were not very clearly formulated in our mind in right view. Whether they properly regulated or not, expressed or manifest quietly, they have far-reaching power and ability. This mental nature formulates our perception, tendencies, order, and our values. And it crystallizes into the ideational frameworks through our life responses. As they are conditional action, They lie behind our choices and goals. We should have an effort to turn these goals from ideals into reality by tool of right view. Though action itself determine consequences, action alone with its outcome hints on the understanding from which it spring. Our views basically imply ontological commencement. This view that we have on the question of what is real and true classify into two divisions, right and wrong view. The former related to with what is real, while the latter correspond the wrong view. These two different views taught by the Buddha lead us towards radically disparate lines of action and thereby to opposite consequences. If we hold a wrong view, it will direct us toward a series of action and you eventuate pains thereby. If we hold a right view, it will direct us towards series of action and you eventuate happiness thereby. Maybe our conceptual orientation towards the world innocuous and inconsequential, but when you look at the closely, you will experience in a real way. The Buddha said himself that he sees no single factor so responsible for the arising of unwholesome state of mind as wrong view, and no factor so helpful for the arising of wholesome state of mind as right view. And further, he said that there's no single factor so responsible for the suffering of living beings as wrong view, and no factors so potent in promoting the good of living beings as right view. Anguttara Nikaya, Volume 1, Sutta number 16. Right view enhances a correct understanding of the entire teaching of the Buddha in its fullest measure and capacity. And its scope is exactly equal to the range of the Dhamma itself. But there are two kinds of right views stand in our practical world as primarily. One is mundane right view, which function in the mundane world, and second one is supramundane right view, and it leads to liberation from the world. The first evolved to govern the condition of the material and spiritual progress in the rebecoming, along with other conditions which directs to higher and lower state of existence. The second involves condition which is important to liberation. Okay, then today let us conclude our this lesson. This is a part one part of the right view. Today I taught you this lesson as a enter to the topic. Maybe the next class we can discuss the another part of this topic. Thank you so much for joining today class. May you be well and happy. Before end this class, let us radiate our loving thoughts for everyone's success and well-being and good luck. Dukkha pattha chani dukkha, bhaya pattha chani bhaya, soka pattha chani soka, hontu sabbi pipani.